Just put the drawbar under to mock it up, see how our bend did, and overall I think we're right on the money. It's, oh, this is the tight side. Why'd I do this side? You can kind of see here, but see how it's basically parallel with the original brackets that it bolts to or pins to. And then this is basically parallel with that. And height off the ground is right in the ballpark where we want to be. That 18 to 22 inch range, somewhere in that area. So now the plan is I gotta start punching holes, because originally I didn't have this piece cut right because we changed our design since then. So what I've got on my scribbles here, I'm gonna slice this and this, that piece is coming off. Then we're gonna drill a hole in the corner, and I'm gonna take the plasma cutter, I'm gonna cut a box out up to here like this. And then the pin that the drawbar goes in this roller here, this will then ride right on that line right there. So the drawbar will hang here, it'll pivot back and forth. We might have to trim out a little bit in these spots for that drawbar. I have a very makeshift drawbar here I can show you guys. This piece of cardboard here is the width of the drawbar, basically the size of it. This is the drop from the roller down to the top of the drawbar. So if you watch when you pivot here, see how it'll hit right here, and then it's gonna hit right there. But that's quite a bit of, I mean, that whole axle to twist up like that, you're going through quite a dip, quite a ditch, but I would say at some point, eventually it is gonna tap there. So we'll have to watch when that happens and see those marks, and then we might have to just take a little more iron off. But for now, let's go with this. So let's get the drill out and let's start punching holes. I wish I had a mag drill. That might change. Let's punch a hole, get a spot for that plasma cutter so I can start punching through this inch steel. Whew, a lot of cutting. The tip on that plasma cutter was bad, and I didn't know that. Well, actually, not the tip, I don't know what you call it, it's the housing that goes over it, and it was directing the plasma at a slight angle. So I'll clean that up, but when I caught it, I put a new one on it, and then it cut straight down. But, got the nice little hole there, so good. We're making progress, so now let's buzz that off and get that piece off there. Pop the breaker. This shop really is a little on the weekend for the service. And, you know, when we get a bumper crop one of these years, oh, we're back. Maybe we'll build a new shop and run a new service line to it and beef up the electrical components a little bit in here. The only combination that pops that, though, is when I'm running the plasma cutter and the welder's going and the air compressor behind that wall kicks on. That all happens at the same time, bam, goes down.
I've got some stuff going on in the front of this tractor. Yeah, I do. All right, I was gonna do 2-inch suction lines to the pumps, but once I got the pumps, the steering pump is a 2-inch suction line, that's fine. The other two, if I ever get a third one, but the main one that I'm gonna use requires a 3-inch. I know, it's insane, 3-inch suction. That's this big, massive. So the problem is I need to find a way to route the suction lines going into the tank and then have these filters, these screens, to get any big particles before it goes into the pumps in this thing right here. So I gotta put that, 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm setting it up so that I have the option of putting a third pump on this tractor if I need more hydraulics. Right now, the hydraulics are gonna be about 55 to 60 gallons is what we're running to the valve body on 1 pump. And then if I needed more, I can add another pump and go that route. But I got a plan for the future. So this here is heavy duty pipe. You're probably like, why do you need such big pipe? Well, 2 things, adding weight, and it's about the only thing I could get at the moment. So It's just how it goes. But here's one thing that I really wanted is I wanted a threader to do the 3-inch, and I can't find anybody around here that has a 3-inch threader. So I can't just cut them to length and thread them. I gotta weld them together, which is actually cheaper buying these weldable ends than actually buying all of the tubes that are already threaded and all that. Yeah, it's expensive, let's put it that way. So what I'm doing here is I'm running 2 tubes through here. They're gonna turn, go into this compartment, cut a hole in this spot here so the filters can go in, access hole on this side. So if you need to take the filters off, pull the access hole open, pull the filters out and so forth. And then this whole area will be encased, like it'll be all oil. So the oil will run from this side all the way through here and it's gonna be good. It's time for me to start fabbing this up and making this happen. And then there's gonna be another tube I gotta cut right here for the suction on the 2-inch line, because you got 3-inch here and then a 2-inch from this side. And you guys are probably thinking, well, why didn't I just go on the side here? Well, the problem is I've got the radiator, which is gonna sit right here, and then the outlet of the radiator is sitting right above these two. So it's gonna be in the way. And then you guys are probably saying, well, why don't you put the filters on this side? Well, this is the return side. So everything that's coming back from whatever you're using is gonna be dumped in this side, then it's gonna channel itself over here and get sucked up by the filters. And the reason why I wanna do that is you're creating heat from whatever you're running, goes in this side, heat travels over here, and then it gets sucked up. But the thing is, it's gonna be cooler by the time it gets on that side, because you got all this oil that's gotta try to pull from, and then this is gonna kinda act like a somewhat of a cooler with the oil capacity and also just the way it's set up. We will have a cooler on it. So yeah, a lot going on. Okay, time for me to start working, because he's working. It doesn't look like he's working. There we go. That's better. That's much better.
Look at that baby. That's a lot of iron. The Hypertherm's amazing. So I'm building the shelf, I call it the shelf. I don't even know if that's what you call it, but we're calling it the shelf. There's that roller for the drawbar. This is gonna ride. This is the bottom, this is the top. It's gonna ride on top of that, and that's where the wear is gonna take place. So I beveled it, gonna weld a absolute yes out of it, and then we're gonna add some gussets right here and right here, and weld all that too. And then this, eventually, will get mated up to that massive 2-inch slab over there. So, but I'm getting all this work done first before we put that together. Got a right angle on it, nice little magnet. We should be good to go, so let's tack her up.
Oh, you gotta love mock-up. Plans changed. So originally we thought we were just gonna leave this part here open and the batteries will sit on top, and then this here will just flow oil, and then this will flow oil. But then when they told me about the 3-inch suction to the pumps, that changed everything because these are big tubes. So then I was like, well, okay, well I could go over here and then drop in here and then the filters go on this side. Well, the problem is the filters, they'll fit in there, but they're very tight and you can't unscrew them. So now I'm thinking I need to put the filters, like one right here and another one right here, and then I'll cut this piece out and it's not going to be any problem with structure. We won't hurt anything on the tractor. So I'll cut that out. The access hole will be here, and then I'll have the other, so there'll be basically 1, 2, 3 filters. So now that's, let's just say because we're changing plans, we don't need this thing, and this thing's in the way now. So I need to cut this thing out, and then when we're all said and done, I'll box all that in, and I think it'll turn out okay, but I gotta cut this off now too, because this isn't gonna work the way I was planning. Somehow in the measurements I kept looking at it and I thought it'd work, but nope. So gotta cut that off, put that piece there, clean it all up. It'll work, we'll get it figured out, but change of plans. Now I'm just waiting for Nick to finish up welding some, and then I'll use a plasma cutter, because right now if you use a plasma cutter and the welder, it keeps popping the breaker to the shop. We need more power. Let's put it that way, more power. But it's kind of a slow go thing going on right now. All right, gotta love it. Changes, it'll work out. We'll make it happen. We always do.
All right, let's take a look. Yeah, that's not bad. That's okay. That could be better. I double welded both sides. Beveled, welded, wire brushed, welded. So I don't think that's going anywhere. Still got a gusset this side and that side, and all the weight of whatever you're pulling is going to be sitting right on here. So that has to be able to go in and out a little bit, slide back and forth. It's got to rock and twist like this. Does that make sense? I hope it does. We're good. Quick change of gears. Leg arms needs the welder and plasma cutter for a bit. So, as you can see here, I got some spherical bushings. And they're taking a nap in the snow. A little shrinkage. These are the old cylinders. These are the steer cylinders on that tractor. They're gigantic. Absolutely monstrous. And they, at the hydraulic shop, looked them over and they said, you know guys, they're pretty worn. And the cost of trying to rebuild those compared to making new ones is pretty negligible. You're better off just getting new ones, and the new ones will be a little smaller and designed how we want them designed. So we said, yeah, go for it. So they fabbed up these guys. A little smaller diameter tube. We don't need that big because we got higher hydraulic pressure these days. Same stroke, but it uses the same spherical bushing. So I rigged up the press over here, and we'll take that bushing over, put a bar here, flat plate, and we're gonna press that spherical bushing down inside this and get the line lined up so that way the greaser can grease the whole unit. Make sense? Then when we get that done, we can install them because we need to know how tight this tractor will turn with those cylinders. Do a quick grease check. I'm gonna put some grease in that Zerk. We'll see if it comes out. Turn this. Oh yeah. Grease coming out. Okay, that's all there is to it. Let's do the other one, and then I gotta put them in the tractor too, because there's two that go in the tractor frame as well. So shortly after Christmas break, a package showed up on the farm, and opened her up, and it's this beautiful cold chop saw. We've never ran one of these before, so it's got like the diamond blade on it versus the old, whatchamacallit, these metal cutting, I don't know, these abrasive, there we go, abrasive cutting wheels. And we've used those for ages, forever. And everyone always says, you gotta get rid of that thing and get a cold cutting saw. But you can't just put a cold blade on an old chop saw because it's gotta spin like 2 or 3 times faster. I don't remember the exact RPM, but I know it's significantly faster. Well, wow, look at this thing cut. This is awesome. There's practically no burrs on that thing. That's nuts. It's not even that hot to the touch. Yeah, where have we been all these years? So anyways, Justin, thank you. That was a tremendous Christmas gift. Thank you. We will use this thing a lot on the farm. Thank you.
Well, that's looking a little bit better. Yeah, I changed plans, obviously. But there's going to be 2 filters here facing this way and then another one facing this way coming out in the front port. But this here can be encased with a plate right here, and then batteries will be on top of it. So I've ground down all the surfaces that need to be cleaned up, and I've cleaned the inside of this pretty good, scraped it out pretty decent, and then we'll put the plate on top. Granted, before we put oil in it, obviously we're going to wash this out really, really good. And for those that are wondering, I don't know if you saw in the video, but I used a brake honer or a cylinder honer with these stones. Put them inside this 3-inch tube and honed them out, make sure all the barbs and junk and rust and pieces, whatever might be inside, are scraped off the walls. So these are clean, and then we'll wash them out really good so that we won't have any particles going to our pumps. Now I messed up. At least it's, you know, it's changeable, that's what they're for. But this filter, I was using it as a mock-up, trying not to get it dirty, and I left it inside there when it was out of sight, and I got busy, did something else, and then I came over to cut a hole. Yeah. This thing's a mock-up filter now, so I've got another one ordered. It's a shame. Things happen, but anyways, yeah. So let's put this top plate here on and get ready to glue it up. And then I gotta glue the side pieces here and keep going.
So I dropped the back end of the bud down, got off the stand. That's now resting on its really awesome tires. And I had to do that because it was cockeyed. So I get the skid steer to straighten the tractor out because, as you can see, I got a steer cylinder installed. So I gotta modify this pin. The old one was, actually there wasn't even one, it didn't come with one. This one's got the grease circuit and everything in it. I just gotta cut it down to length and make a cap on the top and a snap ring groove and whatnot. So I got those to do. But I got the spherical bushing in there, that and in that side of the cylinder as well, pin. Now I gotta remove this old spherical bushing that's still in this. It's rusted, it's shot. The sides of this are kind of mangled up, and I just don't think I can beat that thing out. It's just I'm gonna make a mess. So I'm gonna cut it out. Let's make a liquid mess. That's easier to work with. Got her out. Excelente. Got a nice little fire down here to warm my hands on when they're cold. Nice box here to start on fire and a bunch of oil next to it that'll burn the shop down if I leave it. Or we could just, you know, put a brunt boot on it. Much better. All right, I think I'm ready to put the cylinder up here. I made little spacers. These goes on the outside, the spherical bushing. And then what that does, that keeps that spherical bushing from moving up and down inside here. Because I didn't see a snap ring. There might have been. Usually they have a snap ring in these and you take them out, but there was no groove for a snap ring, so this will work just as fine. And that way, that spherical bushing can't move up and down. So, but the problem is these new cylinders are stiff. Oh, they're tight because they're brand new. And you could probably hang 200-300 pounds, 400 pounds off the end of this with that end tied up and it still won't come out.
Or leg arms.
Or leg arms. So this is leg arms idea. So I'll put a pipe to the bottom and hook this up and use the bottle or the cherry picker to pull that thing out to the length I need, but I gotta take these caps off first. All right. Like that. I'm gonna make a little bit of a mess. Take these off. A little bit of oil in there. Let's raise it up. Look how much pressure that, literally it's bending the cherry picker, trying to pull that thing out. I measure 34 and a half. No, it's gotta be more than that. It's gotta be more than that. 43 and a half. 43 and a half, and we are 38 and a half. So we gotta go 7 inches, is that right? 5 or not 5? Try that right there. 41, 42. It's always easier to push together because you can use them all. 44, so that's right in the ballpark. We'll call that good. Well, leg arms had to take off for a minute, so that means the welder and plasma cutter are free. So let's get the plasma. Let's take this square piece I cut out there. We're gonna cut it diagonally right down the side, make a big triangle on each side, clean it up, bevel it, and then I'll put one here and one there, and we'll weld all that up really good. And that way, all that weight will be hanging on this plate. This is all gonna cleaned up, by the way. More weld will be put in the ground down. And then that'll be there. And then there's no way that can shear, break, crack. I should say no way, unlikely. And then all the weight of your cart, air cart, grain cart, bin chaser, whatever you wanna call them, will be pulling on this. So they'll be beveled edges, welded 2-3 times across here and down the sides to that. And then we'll I just cannot say that word lately. Gusset from there over as well. So there'll be a few of them across. Shouldn't be pulling that apart. Nope, not until they get a 4,000 bushel cart. Then we might. All right, plasma cutter, cut straight this time. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Hot potato. Hot potato. All right, let's cut the slag off, bevel it, weld that thing. That's what I'm talking about. That's laying down nice, really nice. Okay, first pass done. Wire brushed it. Let's do a second pass. And I think we're done here. Okay, she's good. Let's tackle this thing. Grab the case skier, put this flat on the ground. I sweeped a nice spot there, lay it there. Then I'll show you guys how I'm gonna butt that drop down, whatever you wanna call it, drawbar cradle holder up against this. All right, let's manhandle this thing. Is that even appropriate to say these days? Can I say manhandle? I think I could say it. Oh yeah, that's actually not too bad. I bet that weighs 130, 140 pounds probably. Maybe a little more than that. Ugh. It's just got sharp edges and oh, it's hot. Whew. Drop that on yourself, you're hurting. So now I gotta flip it upside down. Just gotta get this so it stays. I need to go this way a little bit. There we go. Well, I was able to use the last of the iron that we cut off the top of this plate that I didn't use, made these. So I think because the majority of the stress is going to be pulling down force, which this is upside down. So this is going to be trying to go that way, that it's going to try to shear off this plate or this. So I don't know. I could put the long side against this and then weld that. I think that would be plenty. Or I could do this too, and then the long side of it. I don't know if it really matters, but either way, we'll gusset there, and then I gotta weld around, flip it over, and weld, fill that in. And I think then that thing is gonna be just nuts tight. So that's good. All right, well, got them tacked in, everything's squared up, square. It looks beautiful. Bottle jack's holding that up. It was trying to pull itself in a little bit as you weld. So with the bottle jack, I'm able to keep that nice 90-degree angle. So I guess it's time to melt it together. Well, it is welded. One pass around all that right there. So I'm gonna flip it all the way over. I'm gonna do a pass on the inside, then clean it all up, and then do a second pass. And then I think that should be good for tens of thousands of pounds of force pressing down. Let's flip it.
Well, you find me in the 99 Peterbilt. We're hauling some spring wheat in not spring conditions. It's not bad. This just got a little bit to haul in. I have someone that's helping me haul. The boys are busy in the shop. Needs to get that project to come along and get ready for spring. But so we're on the road. He's got the International, and we're getting some loads back and forth. There's a few trucks down there, so it's going to be a little bit slower because this coming weekend they're talking below zero weather. It'll be nice to get this done because I don't work very well in below zero weather. This truck actually performs better than I do. But we do have a little bit of snow on the ground. The wind came up, and of course in this country it makes piles if you get my drift. As you can see, we have one more bin that we have to put down on top of the rings, but the rings aren't done yet. There's a space that it needs to go. It's kind of like a front tooth missing. So well, I'm going to get underneath this here. Let's see here. That looks about right. Oh, I barely made it under. All right, the gates are closed. I might go ahead and pull it ahead just a couple feet because when it fills finally to that level, it fills fast. So I'm going to give it a little bit of more room. All right, let's call it there. I couldn't help but tease you. It's loud, but not that loud. Okay. The grain's running in. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, that was the driver that we have hauling for us. Driving our International, Brandon Stokes, and I'll sometime give you guys a chance to say your howdies. Just did quite a bit of trucking, so this isn't new to him at all. So at my age, it might be new every day, right? this is a local boy. I shouldn't say boy. He's got some years on him, and how many children?
6.
All right.
6 kids. See what they do to my hair?
Oh man, yeah, we won't talk about it. That's a gray matter. But anyway, yeah, this is Brandon Stokes. He goes to the same church we do. He's kind of a contractor out there, does a number of things. He was available, helping us haul. And that was the driver that you saw as we crossed paths on the road. So
I'm in this video too.
yes. Yeah, so anyway, you come from a farming background, or at least in your family?
Correct.
Yes.
From Valier.
Yeah, and Valier is only about 30 clicks.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, for those who don't understand clicks, it's non-kilometers. It's miles. So anyway, yeah, it's not very far. A local person from this area, grew up in a community just south of us, Conrad mostly.
Correct.
Okay, well, they were kind of enemies on the basketball and football, but in my day anyway. And that's back when I think they were still riding horses. Something.
Yeah.
It was ancient.
Buggy. Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, he's done a lot of hauling, and he said, man, you guys have got to do something. It's such a long haul, right?
I can't work under these conditions.
Yeah, he says it's too short. He said, I barely get in the seat. I got to get back out again. Yeah. We got a good day in.
Absolutely.
We got, there was some trucks down there. We didn't just start real early, and we got, I think, 6 each. Well,
This
counting.
will be number 6.
Yeah, this will be 6, and so we've got about 2.5, 3 each tomorrow. Nah, a little over that, and then we'll call it good. All right. Anyway, good to have him with us, and
For
we'll
having me.
catch you tomorrow.